Did you know that a seemingly harmless tiny pill, often prescribed by well-meaning doctors, can insidiously hijack the delicate machinery of your brain, altering its chemistry and ultimately stealing your life piece by piece? I'm talking about clonazepam, commonly known as Klonopin, a medication that many believe is a safe harbor in the storm of anxiety. People trust it implicitly because it comes with the perceived authority and safety of a doctor's prescription. But that's a profoundly dangerous assumption that can lead down a treacherous path. This isn't just another medication in your medicine cabinet. It's not a simple remedy, but for many unsuspecting individuals, it slowly and irrevocably becomes a chemical prison, locking them away from their true selves. It starts as a gentle whisper, a siren song promising calm seas and tranquil shores, and inexorably ends as a roaring monster, a relentless force that grips you tightly and won't willingly let you go no matter how hard you fight. Clonazepam is classified as a benzodiazepine, a class of drugs that also includes well-known names like Valium and Xanax, medications that are infamous and widely recognized for their highly addictive power and potential for abuse. What innocently begins as a source of relief, a temporary solution for overwhelming anxiety or debilitating panic attacks, can quickly and unexpectedly turn into a full-blown dependency, a reliance so strong that it dictates your every move, dragging you further and further down a dark and treacherous spiral before you even realize the danger you're in. These pills were originally intended and prescribed for short-term crisis management for acute situations, and certainly not for prolonged lifelong use as a daily crutch. But tragically, that crucial message has been lost, diluted, or simply forgotten in the noise. Consequently, far too many people end up feeling hopelessly trapped, ensnared in a web of dependency, compulsively taking the pill day after day, simply to feel a semblance of normalcy, to function, and desperately trying to avoid the agonizing and debilitating symptoms of withdrawal. Therefore, if you or someone you deeply care about is currently taking this drug, it is absolutely imperative that you become fully aware of the inherent risks involved, the potential dangers, because, quite literally, your life or the life of someone you love could very well depend on it. Clonazepam. It might seem like a harmless little helper, but don't be fooled. Clonazepam is a wolf in sheep's clothing. It acts like a traffic cop in your brain, a regulator trying to bring order to chaos. Slowing everything down by boosting GABA, your natural brake pedal, the neurotransmitter responsible for calming your nervous system. It's like applying the brakes to an over-revved engine. It's related to Xanax, a close cousin in the benzodiazepine family. But while Xanax hits fast and leaves fast, providing immediate relief that's fleeting, clonazepam lingers, its effects lasting much longer, making dependency sneakier and harder to detect early on. People take it for panic, when their heart races and their breath shortens. Social anxiety, the fear of judgment and scrutiny in everyday interactions, insomnia, the relentless struggle for sleep, and seizures, when the brain's electrical activity goes haywire. Sometimes, in those dire situations, it's a lifesaver, offering a crucial lifeline. The problem? It works so well your brain stops making its own calming chemicals, becoming reliant on the external source. Over time, your brain rewires itself to depend on the drug, creating new neural pathways that reinforce the need for the medication. When you try to stop, the chaos comes back worse than before, amplified by the brain's inability to self-regulate. It's not just anxiety anymore, the original symptoms are now compounded by withdrawal effects. It's your brain forgetting how to calm itself, losing the innate ability to find equilibrium. That's not a side effect, that's your biology being hijacked, your natural processes subverted. The danger isn't just in the intention of finding relief, but in the long-term consequences for your brain's functionality. Dependency builds quietly, day by day, pill by pill, until it's a firm grip. And withdrawal can be brutal, a harsh reminder of the brain's altered state. This pill changes your brain, and not for the better, potentially leading to long-term neurological consequences. At first, clonazepam feels like a miracle. Anxiety fades, sleep returns, life feels normal. But the honeymoon ends, your body adapts, and soon the same dose doesn't work. You build tolerance, chasing that first feeling of calm, but it's always out of reach. Now you're taking it just to avoid feeling bad. Long-term use brings brain fog, memory loss, and emotional numbness. Depression can worsen, and physical risks like dizziness and falls increase. The real nightmare is withdrawal, severe insomnia, shaking, heart palpitations, even seizures or psychosis. Some people suffer for months or years trying to quit. The drug that once helped now holds your brain hostage. The cost of peace is higher than you ever imagined. Who should take clonazepam? Ideally, only those in acute crisis or with specific seizure disorders short-term, under close supervision. Anyone with a history of substance abuse should avoid it entirely. It's a relapse waiting to happen. The elderly are at high risk. Slower metabolism means higher toxicity, confusion, memory loss, and dangerous falls. For older adults, safer alternatives should always be tried first. Teenagers? Their brains are still developing and clonazepam can interfere with learning, memory, and emotional growth. Giving a teen a benzo is a shortcut that can set them up for lifelong problems. This drug is not a solution for everyday stress or long-term anxiety. It's playing with fire and too many get burned. Let's consider Susan's story, a successful accountant, a vibrant professional, who initially found relief in clonazepam for her panic attacks. It seemed like a manageable solution at first, a way to regain control. But just a year later the dosage had doubled, a subtle increase that masked a growing problem. The initial relief had given way to a creeping dependency. She began suffering blackouts and losing pieces of her life, moments vanishing into a haze of medication. Her memory became fragmented, her sense of self distorted. Mixing clonazepam with alcohol is deadly, a dangerous combination. Both are depressants and together they can dangerously slow your breathing, potentially stopping it altogether in your sleep. It's a risk many don't fully understand. And withdrawal is another horror story, a brutal awakening. One college student, desperate to break free, tried to quit cold turkey, and ended up hospitalized, his body in revolt, overwhelmed by the sudden absence of the drug. These aren't isolated incidents or rare cases, they're tragically common occurrences. Blackouts, car accidents, compulsive behaviors with no memory of them. This drug, intended to provide relief, can slowly erase who you are. The initial promise of peace and tranquility becomes a prison of confusion, dependence, and escalating risk. Families watch helplessly as their loved ones become strangers, their personalities altered, their connections frayed. The most profound tragedies don't always happen in dark alleys or hidden corners. They happen within the walls of ordinary homes to regular people just trying to cope. These horror stories aren't some rare exception to the rule. They're often the predictable outcome, the logical consequence of misuse, overuse, and a lack of awareness. This is the somber reality that far too many individuals and families are forced to face. If you're anxious and desperate for relief, know this: there is hope, and there are safer ways. The gold standard for anxiety isn't a pill. It's therapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy. CBT teaches you to challenge anxious thoughts and build real coping skills. It's hard work, but the results last. You're building calm from the inside out. Exercise, healthy eating, and good sleep are powerful tools for managing anxiety. If medication is needed, options like SSRIs or buspirone are less risky than benzodiazepines. Clonazepam should be a last resort, not a daily solution. Real peace comes from changing your life, not numbing it. You have more power than you think. There's no magic pill for life's problems. Clonazepam can numb pain, but it can't build a meaningful life. Be your own advocate. Ask questions, demand an exit plan, and understand the risks. Don't accept a prescription blindly. The short-term relief isn't worth a lifetime of dependency. If you're already on this drug, don't panic or quit suddenly. Get medical help and taper safely. Recovery is possible, but it takes time, support, and learning new skills. Your mind, your memories, your personality. Don't hand them over to a pill. True peace comes from within, from doing the hard work of building resilience. Get real, get honest, and if you need help, reach out today.